Who's that yellow rodent dick that Voltackles or the Torchics?
Chew!
You're damn right. Who's that man that would risk his tail for his pocket, man?
Chew!
Can you dig it? Who's that rat that won't cop out when Team Rocket's all about?
Chew!
Right on. They say this Pikachu's a bad pokey.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
But I'm talking about Chew.
And we can dig it.
He's a complicated man, but no one understands him but his trainer.
Pikachu!
Hey guys, welcome to the Buttery Show, where we review movies, video game news, and all other things in between. With me, coming back from a very long hiatus, is our executive producer, Ryan Buetta, aka Dancer Boy 247. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing swell, ready to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah, and with us is our recurring guest panelist, Miguel Gama. Miguel, how's your week?
Oh, my week is going quite well. Just kind of relaxing right now.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm doing pretty well myself. You know, I'm breaking in my new dog, so you know, like it's it's a bit of an adventure. But speaking of furry friends that we keep around us, we are here to start off our video game movie month in honor of the new Super Mario Brothers movie that came out a few months ago. And leading up to that film, the first movie that we're going to be covering is none other than the 2019 film Detective Pikachu. Have you guys had any experience playing the video game back in 2016?
I did, yes, I did.
Yeah. How was it?
I did not play the game.
Me neither. So Ryan, what was the game like?
Well, believe it or not, it was technically no one was talking about because technically it was not promoted as well. I remember because there's barely promotion. I actually just saw it in a normal GameStop. Like, oh, that looks interesting. I played it. Honestly, it's just like LA Noire, but rated E. That's why I would explain it. Noire, but rated E. It was fun. I mean, it was kind of weird, like, you know. I did play other Pokemon games that did, you know, it's not like the same format like the OGs, like, you know, the OG, like the mainstream games. But I did like it. I mean, I wish there was a sequel for it because the thing is, the ending of the game does hint a sequel, which we never got. I don't know why. But after playing the game, let's say this: the movie and the game has the movie has a lot of like similarities from the game, like a lot of like points and a lot of like I guess like the plot points. But it's way different. So people playing the game who thought it's the movie. No, you don't have to play the game to watch the movie. It's like they do borrow some elements from the game, but it's not the same plot as the movie.
Yeah. Well, I imagine because the game probably has like at least like 6 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
And you're going to cram it into a 2-hour movie. I mean, can you imagine if someone tried to make a live-action Metroid movie of all things? It's like there's a lot of jumping and shooting involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were your guys' reaction when they first announced that they're going to be making a movie adaptation, not only on a live-action Pokemon property, but also one based on the spin-off game instead of like a main game, like say Pokemon Red, Gold, Ruby, Diamond, etc.
I don't know. I was kind of wondering, like, how are they going to translate a lot of these animated films and games and stuff into live action? I mean, it doesn't always work out all too well. I mean, we basically saw the trailer for Sonic before they revamped him. And
like this movie came out when they just released like the original trailers with the messed up version of Sonic from the Chippendales movie.
Yeah.
So like, were you guys a little bit uneasy like with the original announcement, or did you feel more comfortable once they showed the actual trailers for it?
Oh well, also to answer your question, other one. My bad, my turn. Um, my thought adapting. Wait, what's the other question you asked for?
So like the original question is, what was your reaction to them adapting a live action Pokemon movie? But also, like, what was your reaction to the fact that they did it based on a spin-off game instead of a main title like Red, Gold, Ruby, Diamond, etc.
Okay. Honestly, I was kind of mixed about it, but also kind of curious. Well, actually, not more. I was mixed, but also kind of like curious. You know what I mean? Because the thing is,
Hmm.
I kind of wanted them to adapt Ash in some way, but I can see why it's hard to do it because you know. But something that I'm a huge Ash fan, all right, and yeah,
Hmm.
he's Pokemon champion. So you haters out there,
World champion.
champion. So it doesn't
Let's
matter.
keep that straight. World champion.
Champion, world champion. He's the best Pokemon trainer lead technically. But anyway, but I can see why they didn't adapt Ash because it would be too hard to adapt that kind of thing. I think you have to do a Netflix series about it, like a live action. But it was smart. I did like it, a live action Detective Pikachu. I kind of wish they did like focus maybe on Red,
Hmm.
but again, that's also hard to do.
Hmm.
But I liked it. The spin-off. The thing is, like I said, original game plays like 6 hours, right?
Right.
You can actually make a movie out of that, like with some elements. But yeah, I was kind of mixed, but when I saw the trailers, yeah, I got me interested. Now, keep in mind, I thought this was gonna flop.
Really.
In my head, I was not getting. In my head, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna watch it because I'm a Pokemon fan. I don't care if it sucks or not. I'm just watching. At least it was made, right? Because
Yeah.
many years I want a live action Pokemon movie, and there you go.
Right.
But we
Right.
forward, yeah. So I was impressed.
Right. So Detective Pikachu is a 2019 murder fantasy comedy film, and it was directed by Rob Letterman, and it features the starting roles of, believe it or not, Ryan Reynolds of all people as the titular Pokemon Pikachu, and of course you got his trainer played by Justice Smith, and additional actors, you got Catherine Newton, Suki Waterhouse, Omar Chaparro, Chris Gere, Ken Watanabe, and the legendary Bill Nye himself. And I'm not talking about the TV show guy. I'm talking about the vampire movie guy. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I remember back when we were doing. I remember when one of my favorite interview moments back when we were doing Morphin Network was when we were interviewing an actor who was in the Underworld movie series with Bill Nye, and I love like the story they told about the actor himself. Yeah, so it's really cool seeing Bill Nye show up in this film of all places. So this movie had a budget of $150 million. Anyone want to guess what the box office is?
Around 100 million.
Yeah,
100.
about 500 mil.
Well, Miguel came out closer because it was 433.2 million. So it is a relative financial success. And the latest news we have on it, it was in March 2023. Yeah, March 2023. It has been announced that they are currently writing a screenplay for a sequel.
Hmm.
So I guess we could be glad that they are actually making a sequel to this because this had to have been enough of a success to do that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was your guys' experience first watching this film?
For me, honestly, it was one of the best movie experiences I experienced
Mhm,
because again, I wanted a live action Pokemon film. And when I was a
mhm.
kid, I always wanted a live action Pokemon film. You know, I watched like the animated films in movie screen theaters, like like Pokemon, first movie Pokemon, 3000 Pokemon, all this stuff like movie everything, Pokemon Forever, Pokemon Heroes. See, that's how far I'm going, right?
Yeah.
But
Mewtwo Returns had a theatrical release if I remember correctly, even
yeah,
though it's only
Mewtwo
an
Returns.
OVA.
Yeah, Mewtwo Returns. I had a yeah.
Yeah.
So I was amazed because thing is, all not just Pokemon, like you see a lot of Pokemon in this film, not just Pikachu. A lot
Yeah.
of you even have like up to Gen 6. I'm like, whoa, we
Gen
have Gen
7 even.
yeah, Gen 7. Like we had in my mind, like we have Gen 6 Pokemon here. Holy shit! And they even put in Arceus, Dialga, wait,
As
Arceus is
statues, yes. So here's some
like
of the Pokemon right there.
yeah, see, like there you go, like Ludicolo, like Oh my god, like Snowball. I'm like, damn, they even have home. That's why I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The fact that I got to see these monsters like in live action form, being and I can tell that this film was made for the fans. Like this was a love letter to Pokemon fans because honestly, this is my opinion. I think without this film, we would not be getting like hype for other upcoming films like video game films like Sonic, now Mario. Because the thing is, this was the first successful video game adaptation in a long time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that wasn't an animated one.
yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, yeah, and the first one that actually had like very rave reviews. So
Yeah.
now you can Miguel, your turn.
Yeah. So Miguel, what do you think?
I saw it in theater when it first came out, and I thought it was a pretty enjoyable experience. I mean, it honestly it did quite a lot of the skepticism I had towards are they going to be able to adapt this properly?
Mhm.
And yeah, I wound up liking it. It's probably the first instance of a live action film based on a video game actually doing well. I mean, you had other like good ones, but they were all animated before that.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I watched a matinee screening of it because I had a busy work schedule at that time, so I wasn't able to watch it on the opening weekend. So I watched it on Monday morning following its release, and and honestly, I was partly apprehensive because up to that point, the only video game movie that they released that I actually liked was the original '95 Mortal Kombat. The
Mm-hmm.
sequel was not so good. And
No.
Oh,
we had a bad track record with anime films as well. And with Pokemon having a foot in both departments, it's like part of you wants to wonder: is it going to be video game movie bad, or is it going to be anime movie bad? And like the only thing like that had me like curious about it was the fact that they cast Ryan Reynolds of all people to play Pikachu, and like we were all still on that Deadpool hype at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I'm going to use Volt Tackle to unalive these Team Rocket members.
Yeah.
honestly, Ryan Reynolds in the role, he actually kills it. Because the thing is, I'm like skeptical of really Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, and now I'm like, okay, he actually does kill it. Oh, kill it like Pikachu.
Right, right. So yeah,
Yes.
Theme song.
so yeah. So as I mentioned, as we just mentioned, Ryan Reynolds plays the titular Pikachu, and his trainer Tim, who's played by Justice Smith, and Justice's character Tim is the only person who could understand what Pikachu is saying for some reason, and they're both looking for Tim's missing father, who is, spoiler alert, also played by Ryan Reynolds. So for those of you who are watching this and don't know, Ryan Reynolds is famous for playing Deadpool, and not so famous for playing Green Lantern, and is well known for previously playing a lot of no, romantic comedy characters. While Justice Smith is currently famous for playing Dungeons and Dragons, but he's also had other roles in the past, including the Jurassic Park franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you guys think about their chemistry between these two characters?
I mean, it was fine to me. I mean,
Mhm,
I'll say this: Justice was okay,
mhm,
but I think I can tell it was more focused on Pikachu.
mhm.
Again, in my opinion, he was just okay. He wasn't bad, but he didn't really like me personally. Didn't like more relate. I don't know. Maybe it needed more backstory in relationship with
Mhm.
his father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was just okay. Honestly, the person I was very interested in was still Pikachu. Well, honestly, it was actually I wanted to know more about Ryan, like Tim's dad,
Yeah.
because look, he was an experienced Pokemon, like not trainer, but an actual. I can say trainer because he did, has
Yeah.
experience in fighting.
Pikachu is his
But
partner Pokemon.
yeah, honestly, yeah, Justice was just okay. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't bad, but to me personally, he was just okay. Chemistry
Mhm.
wise, they did okay, but I could tell Ryan's Pikachu, voice of Pikachu really overstepped it a lot. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean it's supposed to be, but I wish Tim had more stuff to do.
Right.
Except the finale, the final battle. That's when we saw more of Tim. But that's all I can say.
Yeah. How about you, Miguel? What did you think of their chemistry?
I thought they actually gelled quite well together. I mean, yeah, Justice Smith didn't really have much to do until like the finale of the movie. He kind of played more of a straight man to Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu, but in a movie about Pokemon, that's basically where your focus is going to be on primarily most of the time, unless, I mean, you're not going to be focusing on the trainers unless you're playing the games, because you actually have to go out there and you have some interactivity. But outside of that, you're not really focused much on the human characters.
Yeah, like for me, I mean, I'll say this: like, props to the CGI department. The way they had Justice Smith physically act, not necessarily deliver lines, but specifically like the way he captures his own movements. They did make it so that it does feel like there's an actual Pikachu on his arm, shoulder, etc. And yeah, you're right. They're like Abbott and Costello, in which one has to be the straight man for the other person's hijinks. And I'm glad Ryan Reynolds is, the punchline character. The one thing, well, yeah, like you can have a straight man in a comedy duo. I would say like the one deficit I would put onto Justice is that his character feels like he's never seen or heard of Pokemon before.
Yeah.
And let me explain that. It's like see, the thing is, if he was like Mario in the new Mario movie, where like he just showed up into this new world, then it would make more sense that like he doesn't know anything about Pokemon, and so it's like like a Cubone acts this way. Oh my God, a Lickitung is about to lick me. What's going on? But here it's like he dreamed of being a Pokemon trainer, so it's like he should know a lot more about Pokemon than the way the character behaves most of the time, But Ryan, like, he really carries the duo, especially like the way he motes the animation, like the Power 6, like, if you hit me with the stapler, I will electrocute you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, for our female lead, we have a reporter who's basically trying to go from April O'Neil from Michael Bay to April O'Neil in the 1980s.
That's Ant Girl.
Yes, we got Ant Girl, aka Catherine Newton, aka Lucy, and her adorable little Psyduck. I love Psyduck. Like, Psyduck is one of the most adorable Pokemon. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think every Pokemon is cute except for 4 of them. Psyduck would have to be like closer to the top of that list, because, and honestly, I always felt bad for Missy Psyduck because she's always like physically abusing Psyduck.
Yeah.
But no, I love that, like, Lucy, contrary to Misty, is like more affection towards Psyduck. So what do you guys think about her ambition as a reporter and her ability to contribute in the story?
Well, here's the thing. Now, she does a really good job. Well, she does an okay job in the story, but here's the thing. How she was performed by Catherine was very, very stoic. Mm-hmm. Like, I could tell it was just reading a script. I can, of course, read it, but it was very, like, robotic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, I don't know. To me, it was just like, I can tell that she was trying her best, but same thing going to Justice, like, performance as Tim. Mm-hmm. I felt that what Lucy, again, Candy was a great actress, but thing is, here I don't feel like they got her best ability ever performance, because here again, maybe of course it's a script, but I feel like she was not used to content, because it felt very, like, how can I explain it? It was robotic. Like, it wasn't like oh, she did an okay job, but in my opinion, she kind of like what. Basically, she was more like, oh, this is just my job to do. Like, my role is just to be, technically, what's the term? What's the term for it?
It's a placeholder position.
Placeholder position. What's the term? Exposition.
Yeah.
She was basically exposition in this film.
Yeah.
and that's why I felt bad. But again, ending kind of fixes that. But I kind of
Mhm.
sad wish they kind of made her not exposition because legit every scene she has it was always exposition. I'm like in the
Mhm.
first half, first and middle half's like, okay, we get it. But there was points where she was kind of annoying to the point I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, what the heck? But she
Mhm.
does redeem herself in the ending. So, but in my
Mhm.
opinion, Katherine Newton, great actress, but in my opinion, had she was not used to her full potential in this film.
Mhm.
That's what my opinion was.
Okay, what'd you think, Miguel?
I have to say, yeah, Catherine Newton is a pretty good actress from what I've seen, but this wasn't her best performance either. It does kind of feel like it was kind of phoned in overall. And
Mhm.
then that, yeah, her character was mainly used to basically give you a big plot dump, or kind of like those announcers in anime, like previously on Pokeball Z, and then she goes like that, yeah.
And
Pokeballs.
she talks. She's like, "I'm an actor. I need to be a friend." I was like, "Okay, no, talk like a normal person. You're an anime character." There's the thing. Like, her performance is like in an anime.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. Like, we've seen her do better performances in Paranormal Activity 4 because
Oh, and
she
also
did play the lead character in that movie.
in Ant-Man.
And she did give a better performance in Ant-Man 3. So it's not like she doesn't have the ability to act like certain characters from certain movies that we reviewed recently. But yeah, like okay, this like the stoic dialogue. I liked it in like the first scene she's introduced in, where she's like, fear is the essence of all evil. I do not fear fear. Da 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 da. Because like she's like trying to play the whole noir detective thing, and like that could have worked if they established that this is not the way she normally talks. Like she's just like she has like detective fantasies
Mhm.
and like
Mm-hmm.
like her chance to become one, but on the inside she's a total dork and like hyperactive or at least ditzy. So it's a contrast thing to like drop our guard. Like that would have worked. Unfortunately, that's how she always
Yeah,
talks.
it's continuous. I'm like,
Yeah.
even the diner scene. It's like, don't look at me. I was like, okay, this is like, this is legit. I'm like, remind like, this is legit. This is like an
Yeah,
anime.
Austin
Like,
Powers did a better job of that. Let's
he's
be
like,
honest.
don't look at me. It's like, I'm like, oh, you're doing this. That was the thing I really did. That was cringy for me. I was like,
Yeah, like it would have been funnier if it was like if like she had like if like he sat across from her Psyduck and like the Psyduck moved his mouth while she did the talking, kind of like in Austin Powers 3 where he's talking to Foxy Cleopatra. It's like don't look at me. I'm using this cat as a distraction.
oh yeah, that makes sense because that was legit. Like,
Yeah, it's like you got talking
Yeah.
Psyduck, and considering the fact that you know the whole talking Pikachu is a new thing for him, this could have been like a thing where like this could have been what's called a misdirection, making Justice's character think that he could talk to all Pokemon, not just Pikachu. Where it's like, oh my god, I can understand what Psyduck is saying, but turns out he's not. It's just like talking for her.
yeah,
See, see
Yep.
Nintendo Company, we're writing your movie for you. We love you. We love you. We love you. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're in a city called Rhyme City that was built by none other than Professor Clifford, who's played by Bill Nye, a paraplegic genius who decided to become one with Pokemon and have us humans evolve to our best selves and you know like
Team Plasma.
Team Plasma. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, kind of, but also Team Flare a little bit. Yeah, yeah, and he has this very mysterious bodyguard who we never see take off her glasses. And yeah, it turns out that Harry was in a car accident caused by none other than Mewtwo, and so we have to find out what happened to Harry. And what were you guys' initial theories about the climax of the movie as you were watching it?
Here's the thing. After this show, that was already becoming predictable.
Mhm.
I knew they were gonna put Mewtwo as a focus, like he did the damage. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, you know, in Mewtwo's history, again, Mewtwo's history, like he doesn't really. Wait, he does. Here's the thing: he hates humans, but he's not willing to kill humans.
Mhm.
Like he just wants Pokemon to be free from human,
Mhm.
like controlling them. Basically, Team Plasma Skull, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was Mewtwo. Mewtwo had no intention of killing humans. He only
Right.
wanted Pokemon to be all free, right? So
Mhm.
Mewtwo killing a human, that doesn't, yeah, like
Mhm.
that's, but so it was predictable. That's the point where it's very predictable. Like, okay, you were corrupted by someone, and again, I did play the game, so there is elements of that in the game, which I almost play the game, so I kind of knew where it was going.
Mhm.
And I think what this movie is, it is predictable.
Yeah.
If we're not a Pokemon fan, or like you can tell it's coming out of nowhere, but it's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my opinion, it was predictable. That's all I can say. Predictable.
Yeah. How about you, Miguel?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it did kind of come off like, yeah, this is very paint by numbers. It's gone by just going through the motions a lot with the plot, but overall, the climax was actually a lot of fun to watch. I mean, and it was cool to see how they implemented Mewtwo in there. It's kind of similar to what they did in the anime, like how he was like under control by Giovanni for a while until he broke free,
Mhm.
and then that kind of. So I can see a lot of the parallels between that and the first anime film.
Yeah. Yeah. See, for me, it was like, I mean, I did not want Bill Nye to be the villain because I love Bill Nye, but you know, like everyone's a suspect. I would say I have this nasty proclivity of being able to figure out who the villain is the moment they first appear on screen. Like even when like we were like watching Knives Out with Leo, I was like, Chris Evans, he's the villain, he's the villain, and then when we saw not and when I watched Knives Out too, like the moment you see Edward Norton, I'm like, that's the villain, he's the villain. It's probably gonna be really dumb.
There's actually already a tease of who the villain was.
Yeah.
You can tell he was the villain. There's one scene. If you're a Pokemon fan, should there's a red flag that he's already the villain. You know what scene it is?
Do
You ever
tell.
seen this? When he's behind the three statues.
Right.
Wait, sorry, behind the three statues. Arceus,
Yeah.
Dialga, and
Right. Because that's like Cyrus.
because Cyrus. The thing is, like, why would you have your own personal statues of
Yeah.
legendaries? And I'm like, oh, why you have Arceus over here?
Hmm.
Because thing
Yeah.
is, usually villains in Pokemon lore, like I guess I
Yeah.
know of course Pokemon, like in Pokemon like games, majority of the time the main villain wants to control legendary.
Yeah.
And look what's going
Yeah,
at, like it's Arceus. It's already a red. Oh, that's why I knew. Oh, he's a villain. And look what
Yeah. So
happened.
so it's like for me, like what really got me was like when they try to misdirect that his son was gonna be the villain. It's like, oh, why not give an unabridged biography where you cure cancer? I'm like, yeah, yeah. Dr. Clifford is definitely the villain because he's like talking all this big game about us humans evolving ourselves like Pokemon, and he keeps bringing up, and I'm like, once you keep repeatedly bringing up a dogma, that's when you know you are the villain.
So Pokemon has to be free of
hmm
walls. I'm like, yeah.
Like he even like makes an Eevee evolve into a Flareon right in front of the main characters. I'm like, yeah, you're a little obsessed with evolution, aren't you? You're the villain.
hmm
Like you're not drawing suspicion away from you. And then in that same scene where like we see that holographic image of of like Mewtwo causing that car crash, I'm like, uh I was like I literally whispered to the old lady sitting next to me. I'm like, how do we know this hologram isn't doctored? And he
yeah.
And then he even says it's like it lets us see what we cannot see or what others don't want us to see. I'm like, how do we know that there are things that you don't want us to see? Mm, mm,
hmm
mm. So I was like suspicious of him the whole time, and of course there was a bit of a red herring where like his son opens that laptop when they're inside the laboratory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he was the villain, and he implants his own mind into Mewtwo, very X-Men like. Like
Yeah.
even that headset looks like Cerebros if you think about it.
Cerebro.
It kind of does.
Yeah, yeah, and I wish there was like a more backstory about like Harry's brother being killed by a Pokemon because like when she was about to reveal who she is, it's like, do you not remember me? I had eyes just like this.
Yeah.
I swear, I was like thinking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Although that is clever because it's like even in the anime, like while we never see a Ditto turn into a human, we did see a Ditto turn into a photograph of a human.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss Duplica.
Yep.
She was like one of my favorite one-off characters from season 1, who later came back in Johto Journeys, and should have come back in Diamond and Pearl because there was a Ditto episode there with a shiny Ditto.
Nice.
So there's a slew of all kinds of Pokemon with a lot of great scenes. So we got Mr. Mime's interrogation, we got the underground Pokemon battle, and of course my personal favorite, the giant Torterra.
Which is also
yeah.
a nod to the Pokemon Giant Island in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Island of Giant Pokemon. Yeah, like right after the St. Anne. By the way, the episode before that when they had to escape from St. Anne, Pikachu was really like evil because like we had this like it's like Sponge like help, I can't swim, and like once he gets out, like Pikachu's like choo.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, Pikachu wanted him to drown.
Dang. Yep.
So like with this huge cast of characters, well, as CGI characters, I want to first ask you guys, what did you guys think on the animation of all the Pokemon?
Some were hit, some were miss.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
some were hit, some were miss for me.
So, well, that leads me to a follow-up question. What were some of your most favorite Pokemon you saw, and what were some of your least favorite?
I'll go back to the picture.
Oh yeah.
So Charizard was done well.
Mhm.
Ludicolo was done well.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Apom was kind of done weirdly for me.
Yeah.
Apom-
They kind of remind me
Yeah.
of
Apom looked off.
It reminded me of the Mogwai from the Gremlins.
Also, Snorlax.
Kinda, yeah.
Snorlax looks like Totoro for me for no reason. I don't know why.
I mean, it works because he's
It
supposed
works,
to be big and fluffy.
I'll be honest. Bulbasaur kind of looks weird to me. He's scary to me. No, yeah, he is kind of scary to me. This is my opinion. But
Yeah.
I mean, from a distance, the Bulbasaur actually look kind of cute, like when they're like marching.
Mhm.
Okay, so how about you, Miguel?
And Greninja was off for me. I did not like Greninja.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I like that scene where like all the Greninjas are attacking them, but yeah, the design was a bit weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Miguel, what were some of your favorites and unfavorites of the Pokemon designs?
See, well, of course, yeah, I like Psyduck's design. I did like the in scene where we saw. Charizard's is awesome. I did like what else? Mr. Mime was funny, like during the interrogation scene. Some of my least favorite one, like Mewtwo seemed a bit off though. I mean, his face was a bit derpy when I really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a letdown. Huh?
Yeah, same thing. Psyduck's was actually done really well.
Yeah.
Actually, those were my top two designs. Psyduck, Pikachu, and Charizard. Those were my top 3. I think they kind of nailed it in design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, not counting Pikachu because I think we can all agree that Pikachu is done perfectly. I would have to agree that Psyduck is definitely in the top 3. But the other two slots, I have to say, for my most favorite designs, would go to Torterra and Pangoro. Like I know
Oh
Pangoro has
yeah.
a very small role, like it's like a brief cameo, but I don't know why. But whenever I see that Pangoro, it just like lights me up. Seeing it's like we got Gen 6 Pokemon, even Gen 7 Pokemon, because you see those little like mushroom Pokemons from Gen 7
Mhm.
here and there, but like it's so cool. They're not just sticking to the original 150 because they very well could, because everyone wants to adapt Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Everyone wants to adapt the first 150 Pokemon. Everyone wants to adapt like only the first 8 Smash characters. But like the fact that they went all out with like all the different characters they did through all these generations, it's just so good. And I feel like Torterra and Pangoro like really added to that specialness of like seeing all these characters, seeing all these Pokemon done. And yeah, like I would have to say, like a lot of people thought Ludicolo looked ugly. I thought he looked cute. And Charizard, Loudred, Gas. Oh, not Ghastly. Gengar and Blastoise. They all look fantastic in the
Oh
original.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's difficult to pick a top 3 favorite, but yeah, I would still have to go with Psyduck, Pangoro, and Torterra.
Mhm.
So, what were some of your most favorite scenes in the entire movie?
Oh, I'll be honest. The opening sequence.
Mm,
Is it because like remember like the opening? It was like the first Game Boy game.
yeah,
Like it actually just shows oh shoot, and then it showed us the Super Bowl commercial, which is now canon. And by the
yeah,
way, that actually is red.
yeah.
That's red.
That was red.
Yeah.
Red's canon. And then because I remember that one. That's the Super Bowl commercial. That's also canon. So final battle scene, of course, that actually
Yeah.
does. I like the final battle scene. And the music for that final battle scene was actually legit cool. Even our boy Leonard loves the scene.
Hmm.
I agree with him. What else I like? I like the chase between the Greninjas
Hmm.
because and then I like the Mr. Mime scene because it's
Yeah.
something about that like okay, this is what Mr. Mime is known for. Basically, and also the Torterra. I like a lot of scenes, but my most favorite scene is the opening sequence.
Yeah, I'm surprised Mr. Mime did a reference to that Sharon Stone movie that came out in 1992, where like she like crosses
Basic
her leg.
Instinct.
Yeah, Basic Instinct. Yeah, yeah, like he like crosses his leg the same way that Sharon Stone does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So how about you, Miguel? What were some of your favorite scenes?
Let's see. Well, of course, the opening was great. Seeing Red there. Yeah, the ambush of the Greninjas. What else? Probably the scene like where Detective Pikachu's just showing them around, and that's when you see like Ludicolo and all that stuff. And of course, probably yeah, the final battle. That was like amazing. That was great, and also the ending. I kind of like when they kind of show Pikachu being back to normal and Ryan Reynolds in his human
Yeah.
state.
Oh, and I need to add into the when Ryan Reynolds sang the Pokemon theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, when Pikachu's like, I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
And you heard it
Yeah.
during the scene where like they went to the build the corporation when Lucy was there. They did play the theme song with an instrumental.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I would definitely say my most favorite scene was the entire laboratory scape scene. That includes the Greninja and the Torterra, because say what you will about the CGI for the Greninja, I like Greninja as a Pokemon even before Greninja was cool. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Chespin is ugly and Fennekin is so cute. It better not be a fighting type." I'm like, no one's giving any Froakie attention. You know what? I'm gonna pick Froakie as my starter. And then once they announced like the final forms, now all of a sudden everyone wants a Greninja. I'm like, no, I picked Greninja first before any of
Ash
you did.
Ash Greninja.
Yeah, and see Ash Greninja do that like that only appeared in Gen 7. There's no explanation for it.
It has a theme song too.
Yep.
Theme
And
song.
they're brought into Smash Brothers, so yeah.
Yeah. So like yeah, I love I love like the fact that you got these uh, teenage mutant ninja frogs, and and then it ends with like it's like like when we first got Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, all my friends picked Chimchar. I was the only guy who picked what's his name, Turtwig. But I'm glad I went with Turtwig because Torterra's the coolest of the three final forms, and I because it's based on a world tree. It's based on a world tree, and then we got giant Torterra, Island giant Pokemon, and like they have entire biomes on their backs. It is so cool to see in real life. Like finding out that the entire island is just a bunch of sleeping giant Torterras. That was like the hype was too intense for me, man. I like
Yeah.
but no, I also like the final fight scene because aside from the Who Framed Roger Rabbit reference, it also kind of reminded me of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
It did.
Yeah. It's like not only did like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man had a fight involving a giant parade, but also it's like just the
Yes.
fact there's like a lot of like falling involved and like swinging and leaping, and yeah, you got the Who Framed Roger Rabbit reference. So like as far as climaxes go, that was a fantastic climax in my opinion.
It was.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very heartfelt to see Harry back in his own body. So my last question to you guys before we go into our ratings is if you got to pitch a sequel, I mean they're already writing a sequel, but let's say that they approved the sequel and they invited you to be a writer for that sequel. What what would be an idea for a sequel that you would have?
I would go more in Harry's backstory of how he became a detective. I would maybe focus on another city, not just Rhyme City. Maybe I actually want to see the thing about the Pikachu. We see in a world where we see the city. Basically, we were introduced like people without. Basically, they're not trainers. They're just people with Pokemon. I
Yeah.
want to actually see Pokemon trainers in the Pokemon. Yeah, I want to see that concept now because we did see kind of see it in the Charizard, like the rig, like the cage fight scene. But the thing is, that was like technically not really a Pokemon battle because
It's
in
underground.
underground. I want to see something like that. Um, but I want to see more backstory on Harry, how he became a detective.
Mhm.
Basically, you could have Tim back, but I wanted more focus on Harry, and I think it would benefit the movie because Ryan Reynolds is there, and Ryan Reynolds is okay. Come on, Ryan Reynolds is coming back for Deadpool 3, right?
Yeah.
Like, so hype for that Ryan Reynolds is coming back. So you put Ryan Reynolds as the main star
Mhm.
of that, you can get a lot of revenue and stuff like that, but also keep Pikachu in there and detective.
Yeah.
I kind of
I,
want him to keep his ability to
Mhm.
maybe I don't know, but something. Let's see what happens.
Okay. How
But
about
that's
you, Miguel?
focus on Harry.
I'd say yeah, give it Harry's backstory. I do want to see them explore more of like outside of like the main hub of the first movie. I do want to see more trainers like throw in Easter eggs like throw red, throw blue, throw all those like
Or Ash,
different characters in there.
or Ash.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Professor Oak if you have to. I mean, I'd like to see a lot.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I mean, I like your guys' idea about like doing a prequel to Harry's backstory because if I have to say, like, it did feel like Inspector Yoshida felt like a wasted character because like you got Ken Watanabe in your movie. I would love to see like more
Yeah.
interaction between Harry and Yoshida. So like if you're going to do a prequel, definitely focus on the relationship between these two characters because like they make a big deal about Yoshida being Harry's best friend, but like we don't see Yoshida do much of anything, and like he even like kind of like rolls like the grief under the rug about Harry possibly dying. You know, um, if they did a sequel, yes, I definitely want it to take place outside of Rhyme City. Obviously, because the series is called Detective Pikachu, they're gonna have to find some kind of convenient way for Harry to go back into Pikachu's body. Maybe make a joke about like, "Oh, not this again," that sort of thing, and like you'd be stuck as a Pikachu again. Because otherwise, like, it wouldn't make sense for like the movie to not have a talking Pikachu in a movie called Detective Pikachu. It's like having a Scooby Doo movie without Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but as far as like introducing new characters, I would definitely love to have a cameo from Inspector Looker.
Yes, Looker.
Because
Yes.
Looker is part of Pokemon Interpol, and he's appeared in a lot of games, starting with Pokemon Platinum. Like I remember seeing him in Black and White 2, in X and Y with that little orphan girl with the helmet. I think he appeared in Sun and Moon. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
he did.
For
He did. Actually, believe it or not, he's also the only person to actually travel the multiverse, the
Yeah,
Pokemon multiverse, because it's actually
right.
Mhm.
confirmed that the Pokemon games are a multiverse. They're actually connected, and he's only he's the only besides another character that's able to travel through them
Mhm.
through a portal.
So I definitely want to see Looker show up. Like he could even be like a Stan Lee cameo type of
Oh,
character.
too many.
Yeah. So like I'm not too concerned about having Ash show up or Gold or Ruby, but definitely have Looker come back because that is the character that would make the most sense to show up from the
Yeah,
video games.
yeah.
So with that
Yeah.
in with that in mind, what would you guys rate this movie out of 10 and
I'll
why?
give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Hmm.
I won't give it a 10 out of 10 because thing is, again, some of the acting here was kind of
Hmm.
hit and miss for me. Like Tim, Justice like performance, it was okay, but felt like his character felt like he's not. It felt like his character was not in the Pokemon world. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't know what Pokemon was. Like he was
Yeah.
out of place. Like okay, you were capturing
Yeah,
Mewtwo.
like if Tim was from a world where Pokemon did not exist and ended up in the Pokemon world, like like Mario in the new Mario movie, that
Yeah,
would make more sense.
yeah, but this was like, dude, you grew up with Pokemon, you don't get it. Okay, and then Cat Newton's character is basically just exposition, and she was, I think she tried to see like make her character like an anime character, but like, no, it doesn't work in live action. That is proved.
Yeah.
Ken Watanabe wished he had him more because actually he's and also Bill Nye. Actually, to be honest, it was the veteran actors that killed it. They
Hmm.
killed it. Bill Nye, Ken
Hmm.
Watanabe, and that's pretty much it. Like Val Bell was incredible, but yeah, I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, Miguel.
The music too.
I'd have to give it like I have to give it like a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, this is like overall, it's a really solid package. It had delivered on giving us live action Pokemon. The action was great. Some of the cinematics were great. I mean, granted, the acting from some of the human characters, well, mainly Justice and Catherine, was kind of but Kel Watanabe and Bill Nye, despite their limited screen time, actually delivered solid performances. So, despite those shortcomings, yeah, solid 8 out of 10.
Nice. I'll meet you both halfway and say 8.25 out of 10 because credit where credit is due. The plot is actually pretty good and the way it was executed. The animation was phenomenal. The Pokemon battles were great. Uh, I have to say, yes, Ryan Reynolds and Bill Nye both killed it in their performances. And I sadly do have to agree with the both of you that Justice and Catherine, like they both were kind of underwhelming for completely different reasons from one another. And what's most sad about it is that we have seen them give better performances in past films and in future films. So it just feels weird that they weren't again, like specifically like why is Tim acting like he's never seen a certain Pokemon before, even though he always wanted to be a Pokemon trainer, or like, yeah, like I don't mind Lucy giving some exposition, but we've reviewed other movies that have given better exposition because it's like she's trying to be Katara from Shyamalan's Airbender when she could have been like what's his name Royalton from Speed Racer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way they did exposition in Speed Racer was phenomenal. I wish they did incorporate that a little bit here too. But and again, like if she was just like a noir otaku, where only like her first line was like stoic, like I do not fear fear. Fear is the essence of all evil, and it keeps people from finding the truth. The truthful truth that will be surely truly be found. Like if she talked like that only just in that one scene and nowhere else, I would have no problems with it. With that said, 8.25 out of 10. What you guys think of people in the audience? Write down in the comment section on your right. If you comment during the live stream, we will display your comments right here at the bottom. So we actually do have a few. So here we go. Andrea says, Detective Pikachu have a game on Nintendo 3DS. It's a pretty good game. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll probably try to find a copy of it myself so I can play it. She also says, is there going to be a second movie for Detective Pikachu? Yes, as of March 2023, they confirmed that they are currently writing the sequel. Eric Williams says, which Pokemon movie idea or game would you like to be adapted?
Legends Arceus. I want to move Pokemon movie Arceus. Again, same
That
thing.
would work.
Same thing. Plot. Just don't adapt it up. Do plot points. This thing is that'll be kind of cool. Like basically like a Sword of Tsushima style, Last Samurai style Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah, or heck, even if you want to go a bit more obscure, do with the old GameCube game Pokemon XD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Pokemon XD. Like I could never get that Shadow Dragonite because I had to keep looking for Meyer B to like get the ones I'm missing. But at least I maxed out my purifier gauge. I would have to say, like, I think the spin-off games are a lot easier to adapt into movies compared to the mainstay games. So like Legends Arceus, as you mentioned it. I don't think Pokemon Troze or Shuffle would work, but I think Pokemon Conquest probably
Yeah, it
could.
would work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would.
It would.
Yeah. Pokemon Ranger, maybe if you had the right script. Mystery Dungeon, if it was an animated film like Mario, but I don't know.
Here's the thing. Tried an animated series, but it did not do well. We had like 3 episodes of it.
Yeah, it was an OVA that only had 3 episodes. And what's weird is that only episodes 2 and 3 were sequels to each other.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, like honestly, I don't think you can adapt the main anime, although you could do Legend of Thunder from the specials.
Mm-hmm.
It would require some exposition work. It's not impossible to do something based off of Pokemon Red and Green because they did do a 4-episode OVA of that. So, like, if you do a shot-for-shot live-action remake, it could work, but why would you redo something that's already been redone? You know, so it's like if you do, I would say if you're gonna do a thing based on the main games, it would only work as a TV show, not as a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Andreas, who's your most favorite Pokemon and why?
Mine is Lucario because Lucario is loyal to his owner. Plus, he's legit a man's best friend because he's he's like a dog, and plus because he has one of the best movesets with Aura. And basically, he has a great ability. Basically, loyal is what I mean. Because after I watched Lucario, Mr. Mew, I'm like, yep, he's my favorite Pokemon. I like the design too, of Lucario. I wish I put Lucario. Hey, next Pokemon movie, put Lucario in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd probably go with, old school. I'd probably go with the Blastoise. I started with Squirtle as my main starter when I first played Red and Blue, so and I thought that was the coolest like final evolution form. I mean, who wouldn't want to ride a giant turtle with water cannons on his back? I mean, I just like the design, and he's been one of my favorites ever since.
I mean, there's several Pokemon I have a soft spot for, like Psyduck, Cascoon, Bouffalant. Bouffalant's adorable. So it's like, again, like I think that every Pokemon except for 4 specific Pokemon are adorable. And honestly, I kind of like that one line that Lucy says in the movie. It's like I have to write an article about which 10 Pokemon are the cutest. Spoiler: they're all cute.
Yeah.
Um, but if I had to pick two, like off jump, I would have to say Mighty Anna and Toxtricity base form. I don't know why, but something like about those two Pokemon like just feels really homey to me, you know?
Mhm.
There you go.
Oh, but if I have to pick a Gen 9 Pokemon, my money's on low kicks because
Hmm. Nice.
yeah. By the way, shameless plug. If you haven't seen Shin Kamen Rider recently, tomorrow, as of the time of this recording, May 6th, may be your only chance left. So be sure to get your tickets now if they're available. I'm talking to you, Ryan. I know how much you wanted to see that movie. So yeah. Um, okay, so we got two more comments. They should include Mimikyu in the movie. Oh yeah, Mimikyu would be so cute because it's got a bag on its head. I feel so bad for
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Eric's asks. This is the last comment of the day. Favorite Pokemon game.
Platinum.
Hmm.
I'd have to go probably the original like Ruby Sapphire on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I will always have a soft spot for Pokemon Emerald because Ruby was the first game I've actually owned and played all the way through. Um, but if I had to pick a game other than that, I would go with actually a set of two because one's a sequel, sort of, to the other. I'd go with Pokemon White and Black 2.
Hmm.
Mhm. Because I love the fifth gen and I love how the BW2s are a legitimate sequel to the main game. So like I love that.
Nice.
Yeah, so those are worth playing. And that's it for the comments, guys. Thank you all for coming along on your Sunday evening to watch us talk about Pokemon, all of them pocket monsters that you've got to catch all of. And
Yes.
and if you enjoy watching this review, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to be notified on our latest videos. Next time we are going to kick it up a notch, and we're going to go super fast because the next movie we're reviewing is the 2020 film Sonic the
Oh.
Hedgehog, and
Just kidding.
yeah, I like boy, like talking about that movie is gonna be a time and a half. And be
It
sure to check out
is.
our past movie reviews. We've done a Hollywood Anime Month with Dragon Ball Evolution, Shyamalan's Last Airbender, Netflix's Death Note, Alita Battle Angel, and Speed Racer. So be sure to check all those out. And be sure to check out our sister channel, the Morphin Network, where it's Morphin time all the time. We will review Kamen Rider Geats. Our next episode will be episode 38 on Tuesday, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, no, wait. 7:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. And at that same time period on Thursday, we're going to do King Oger episode 14. So stick around for that. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on that channel as well. And yeah, Japan World Heroes is around the corner, and as well as Robo Toy
Oh yeah.
Fest. So if you want to say hi to us in Pasadena next weekend, actually next Sunday, be sure to say hi to me and Ryan while we're there. We're not shy. And if you want to see our individual content, Miguel, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at that blue dinosaur guy.
And Ryan, where can they find you?
Instagram Dancer Boy 247.
And you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kawato and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKawato. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a sparkling and squeaking day, rest of your weekend, and a very electrifyingly fun rest of your week. As the
We are being
week
super effective.
Yep. And yeah, let it be super effective. And until next time, stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Hey guys.
All right.
Ba-da-da, 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 bum, bum, bum.